Hi guys, good morning. This is Dan. Welcome to Engelgeist. For those of you that are new, welcome. For those of you that are returning, welcome back. Excuse me. For those of you that support me over on Patreon, thank you so very much for your subscriptions. I greatly appreciate it. This is the Sunday weekly reading. Basically, it's like a underpinning reading for the week. So we're working with the week of Sunday the 12th of September through the 18th. So this will be like sort of the end of Virgo season. We're getting close to the ending of Virgo season, I think. So, I mean, not close. I mean, we have like a good 10 more days, but still. So this is that week. If you're seeing this on a time that's different than that timing, don't worry. I would still watch the video and see if the message resonates for something that's going on in your life. This is a reading for all signs. It is broad spectrum, so I speak in rather broad terms so that it can reach as many people as possible. You have to figure out where it best fits in your life, right? Please check out the drop-down menu and look at all this stuff in there on any of the daily videos. It just tells you sort of what decks I use, that sort of a thing. So let me see what's going on with the cards. And each card should represent for like a day or two of the week. So maybe 3. You might experience all of these cards and then some. You might only experience one of these cards and stay stuck in that card energy for a while. It really depends. Each person is going to have their own individualized experience with this. This is like a collective thing. So just keep an open mind and see if it makes sense. Is kind of all I'm asking. If you enjoy the readings, please hit the thumbs up button. That greatly helps me. Leave me a question or comment. Subscribe to the channel. Hit that notification bell. All of that stuff greatly helps too. Share the video with your friends. Let your friends know about me. I'm trying to build the channel's audience. It's been slow to go. I wonder if it's about the content, but I don't know. Anyways, here's our cards for the week. The beginning of the week, we've got Justice. She's back. We've seen her a few times. What is going on with her? All right, so we're talking Libra energy. We're talking major arcana. I feel like, to be honest, this is very much a settling card, and I mean like everything's settling down. I feel like this feels very optimistic and good for us at this time. I don't know why. If we find we're entering into this week feeling sort of at peace, all is right in the world, I feel like that's sort of the balance that justice kind of restores. Usually justice can indicate like a sort of a right being wronged, or some sort of truth coming out, or, you know, the restoration of balance, like similarly, you know, incorporated here in the scales. But to me, I don't feel like this is some big like awakening or some secret that comes out, or, you know, it doesn't feel like it has that epic kind of feel to it. What is really drawing my attention in the card today is that dog's face, the black and white dog. This guy right here, they feel very much like content, so content that their eyes are closed, like almost in a rested state. So hopefully you guys are entering this week feeling like all's right in the world in a very profound kind of way. That would be the sort of impact that justice would have, is, in my opinion, it being bigger and more, having a little bit more energy than, say, the normal cards, the non-major arcana cards. The other thing that's also pulling my attention too is the sun that's above Justice's head, right around the crown chakra. It's like that knowing, you know, like being connected to that knowing of everything has its purpose, everything has its place, and everything ideally, hopefully, starting out this week, feels, for the majority of us, like it is in the right place. Things are good, right? Things are, you know, there's an appreciation of all of it when justice is around, or at least that's how I kind of feel, right? We have the two schnauzers there, light and dark, good and bad, right and wrong, all of that. We're not resisting any of it. Does that make sense? We're sort of in tune with all of it. We understand it all serves a purpose, maybe even a greater, higher purpose. None of it's trying to force us or change us. We also have, I just noticed these two symbols, which I haven't seen these in other cards. But we have the cup on one side and the sword on the other, which is this sort of balance of the mind and the emotions. Things to me feel like they're coming together in the early week. So we should enter the week feeling empowered, maybe even a little bit authoritative, definitely in control of, say, our own destiny or our own choices through our emotions and our thoughts. Does that make sense? And so take this and run with it. I think that it should be something very pleasing to you. It doesn't feel like the most intense either. It feels very much like a profound kind of, I don't even know if pleasure is the right word, but I feel like that dog is really like just pleased, like all is right in the world. And so hopefully that is the case for you guys. Let's go to the midweek and see what's going on. So we have the Eight of Wands. Now this card indicates wands is that element of fire. It's that element of getting things sort of done, making decisions, spiritual desire. Sometimes the Eight of Wands can indicate a romantic gesture or message that's coming towards us. That doesn't necessarily have to be the case, but something that maybe we love, we are moving towards, or something that loves us, or that we are going to be passionate about could potentially be moving towards us. I think that what this might be, again, we see the sun pretty, like, for me, prominently represented up in the corner up there. For me, this should be an opportune moment or midweek where we feel energized, capable, excited about something, passionate about something, or something may be coming to us that will ignite those desires. And because the Eight of Wands is always about movement, either us towards the thing or the thing towards us. Does that make sense? In each one of you, because there's multitude of people watching, that thing for you is going to be something different, right? For each and every one of you, because you're each doing an individual experience. But I kind of feel like whatever it is, we feel drawn to it like naturally, or it is being drawn to us. And I think some of that is because of the impact of that ease that we see in justice in the early part of the week. You know, last week's readings was very pentacle focused. And to me, it's kind of like, okay, so maybe we spent last week sort of looking at our material world and settling that, getting things in order in that arena, or really understanding that we can make things happen for ourselves as long as we sort of give focus and attention to those areas. And in doing that, that maybe opened the door for this ease that we feel with justice coming in. And again, it's going to be, I hope, a very big ease in the sense that, you know, it should permeate everything. In doing so, then the Eight of Wands comes in, and either we move towards that thing or that thing moves towards us. Regardless, it's Wands energy, so it's going to be action oriented, it's going to be decision making, it's going to be spiritually driven, it's going to be passionate, fiery kind of, but in a good way, right? There's always this kind of optimism with the Eight of Wands that I feel. It's like sometimes it can even be, you know, a surprise that comes to us that we didn't see coming. But with that contentment, I mean, that's really kind of the feeling that I'm getting. Maybe contentment is the best word, not pleasure so much as contentment that dog is feeling in that justice cards. It's like, it's almost like we know we deserve it, you know, so it comes to us. Okay, now let's look at the third card at the end of the week card. Okay, we have the Ace of Swords. Again, another sun really prominently sort of focused here. Sun gives like life and energy to everything, right? Ace of Swords is a victory card, essentially. Aces always, I feel like, reflect upon the self, right? We want to like be sort of, you know, thinking not necessarily only of ourselves, but certainly placing ourselves as like a priority in our life. That would be important when we see aces. That's just my opinion. I don't know that all tarot readers feel that way, but I do because of the singular nature of the ace. The Ace of Swords would be a clarity of thought, an inspirational thought, an illumination of some sort of an awareness that like maybe, you know, we have the sun kind of following us all week long. Here it becomes a little bit more profound, and we see this like eye in it, like we've maybe connected to that inspiration, to that thing that's driving us. We've captured it. We've really harnessed our thoughts in a new and different way, because aces always bring that sort of newness, that unexpectedness, and we should celebrate that, right? Whatever we didn't think was possible. Well, see, I don't even think that there's not a thought of things not being possible. Okay, let's say this. Prior to this week's reading, because I don't see that or sense that in these cards, there may have been somewhere where we were mentally limiting ourselves or feeling as though we couldn't achieve something. That is gone from us at this point. there's a ease and a peace that we feel that has opened the doors for us to not only balance the scales in our role in our environment, but also to take a position of sort of a an easeful creativity in a way, right? And that's what sort of draws it to us, or us towards it, in that Eight of Wands energy. The Ace of Swords is like taking ownership of that, really owning the newness, the ideas, the thoughts, the inspirations that come with the feelings that we hopefully are connecting to this week, that should be very inspirational, that should feel exciting and possible. Like possibility would be a big word this week. You know, dwelling in that possibility and then moving towards it could open our minds to the actual reality of it being, you know, attainable, right? So each and every one of you, you may have something different going on that you're trying to attain or get a hold of, or find your way towards. Some of you, even with this Ace of Swords and the Eight of Wands, some of you could maybe not even realize this was a goal until this week. And you're able to see it through that sort of stability and balance of the Justice card. Even though she does have her eyes closed, I feel like in that peace that we receive in that Justice card, we open the door for this. Maybe, you know, for some of you, like I said, it could be a new chapter, something we didn't see coming via that Eight of Wands and then the newness of that Ace of Swords. But we're open to it. We're definitely willing to connect to it in new and different ways, and allow that to be a focal point by week's end, if that makes sense, or a focus for ourselves. And we're proud of it. Like, I feel like this dog, as he's holding this sword, we're proud of the fact that we've come this far, or we're proud of the fact that we've able to, you know, see the forest from the trees, or the new possibilities, and we're relishing in that. And we should. This should be a really good feeling week, is kind of the feeling that I'm getting from these three cards playing off of one another. I will say this too. Libra, Justice is Libran energy, right? Which is air. Ace of Swords is also air. Eight of Wands is fire. Air feeds fire. Fire burns and consumes air. They're both very complementary. So the thread of these three cards is quite in alignment, if that makes sense. So this path, or these cards that are available, these energies that are out there for you, should flow rather smoothly if we connect to them and kind of get in the flow with them and let them open our mind. I would start with opening our mind, right? And then allow our emotions, thus, and our spirit, which would be the Eight of Wands card in the midweek, to come in and sort of inspire us to move us towards where we need to be. The mind will continue to open, the thoughts will change, and there's opportunity to be had here. There's even celebrations to be had. There's new perspectives to adopt that give us some hope, or something exciting in that regard, okay? So let's look at the wisdom of Avalon. Ooh, I'll take it. We have the messengers of Avalon. This is the Queen. Woman, fertility, feminine power, sexuality, and friendship. She's card number 4. Now, one thing I will say about 4s, to me, 4s are about stability, right? So I kind of feel like we have a little bit of that stability definitely in that Justice card. There's a restoration of balance that happens there. But the Queen also makes me think of a little bit of sort of who we were seeing last week, which was the Empress. She showed up. But this could also be a little bit of like maybe Queen of Swords energy too, where we're being clear, open-minded, analytical, a little bit, you know, smart about our thinking, right? Using our intuition to a great degree. That would definitely be represented in the Queen. And allowing all of that to kind of be our guide this week, our intelligence, our intuition, those sort of things, to move us forward through these experiences towards whatever it is we want, even if we're realizing what it is we want in the moment, okay? The Queen's going to be nurturing too. Remember, Queens always have that aspect of Cups energy to them, right? That watery emotional aspect to them. So I like that she's here, because we don't want to lose sight of the emotional drive or factor that exists within us, because that's oftentimes how our spirit will communicate through to us, is my feeling. So trusting that and allowing that to be your guide. Let's look to the grounding stone for the week. Okay, and the grounding stone for this week is the idea of respect. How and where do we respect ourselves? The first thing that I think about when I look at this is that queen deserves respect, right? Maybe we need to treat ourselves like the queen that we are, or we need to hold ourselves to, that sort of, not hold ourselves to a higher accountability, but like treat ourselves with that sort of respect that we deserve, right? We also see that respect or that validation come through in that justice card at the beginning of the week. There should be no question as to who we are, what we deserve, and our rights to it. We also see that in the ace energy of the Ace of Swords, right? The focus on the self, taking care of oneself first and foremost. When we know how to truly respect ourselves, we can then respect others and thus the environment. We put that emanation out into the world. It not only, can we expand upon that and create more of that, but we can also sort of teach others or, affect the environment in that way so that it becomes a more sort of respectful place, right? So when I'm thinking about the idea of respect, my mind goes to this concept of not only is it about honoring the self, but it's kind of like, honoring everything that's going on around us too, seeing it from a fresher perspective. Having like sort of a sense of when we respect something, whether it's right or wrong, and this is the balance that we see in that Libra card, the light and dark or right or wrong. It's like we need to respect people and their path even if we don't agree with it. It's not ours to get involved in, right? The queen would be above that, right? And that also helps her to keep that that 4 stability, right? Where she can sort of not, how do I want to say this? Not get into the fray, not get bogged down into the minutia, not get bogged down into the details. Respect yourself and those around you, situations, day-to-day life enough to understand that you don't have to like sort of steer it, control it, make sense of it. It can just be what it is. And then from there, you can kind of create your own space, path, journey. I even kind of feel like with that the Eight of Wands, spirit, your own higher self might be creating a little bit of that journey and path for you too, this week, that you might even be sort of not fully aware of until the midweek, or the end of the week with that Ace of Swords. Aces always can be like new beginnings or new opportunities. So we may not even understand where this is going, but it will be beneficial and exciting. And we're ready to kind of reap the rewards. I love that the queen shows up too because she's always ready to receive, right? She knows her role and she's responsible and respected and all of that sort of, again, there's that word respect. So allow yourself to be in that role this week. That is your forecast, okay? I hope you guys liked it. Please hit the thumbs up button, share it out. I look forward to seeing you guys all throughout the week. We'll talk then. Bye-bye.